Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and get started here. First, talking about the rebrand, or not rebranding, the new logos and such. I communicated with Kristina, and she went ahead and changed and gave us those four logos that we were looking for with the RN lead and then just the uh, picture of the shell and the nurse and stuff like that. So
I think 2 days ago or yesterday when I was trying to make the post, I had not sent them yet
okay,
on
perfect.
Canva. Yeah, but today I have not checked to
Okay.
see.
Okay,
Could you check really quick for us while we continue? Is that okay?
Yeah, let me check quick.
okay,
Okay.
no
No,
worries.
no problem.
So I communicated with her and she gave us those. She gave them to me as a zip file, and then I asked her to put them in Canva as well. And so hopefully she's done that, and we'll be good to go for the logos.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Benny, if you don't see them, I guess the best thing to do is to get the zip file from the President. Did you already get send that to him or no?
No, I can forward it to him.
Okay, yeah. So
Mhm.
if you don't see them there, then we'll go ahead and the President will send those to you, and you can put them in under our brand template.
Okay, yeah, I see them now.
Oh, you do see them.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, yes.
All
Okay,
right.
great, great. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, so that's good with that. Just reconfirming that the RN entrepreneur name will be internal legal items or legal, yeah, legal term only. And we'll use the RN lead on the lead nurse's scrubs or lanyard, whatever we choose to put it on.
Yep,
So
for
we'll do
sure.
that.
That's perfect.
And the vehicle acquisitions. Any questions on the logos or anything with that regarding those?
No, I think we're.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I think it's good. There are four assets that were uploaded.
Okay.
Yeah, one for the RN, one for the lead nurse, then the give hub and the give health.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Perfect. Warhana, do you have something?
You see the way the Give Basic Needs logo, we have different colors of it. We have the purple one, the yellow one, the teal.
Uh
I
huh.
think there's another color.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
like a
depending
dark
on
purple, I think. Yeah.
yeah, and then depending on where you are using it. So let's say you have a purple background as your design or wherever the source is.
Hmm.
You can put the purple logo. Maybe you can use the yellow one or the other one.
Uh huh.
Do we have different versions of that for the RNs? And do we even need that for the
It's a good.
health
It's a good
groups?
question, and I think that I think that's a really good question. I think Benny, if you, I think you can go through
Okay.
and change in Canva the colors
Okay.
pretty
Yeah.
easily. Do you know how to do? Do you know what I mean by doing that in Canva?
Yes. So maybe to Warhana, if the design you are working on it on Canva, there's an option to just change the color directly by
Mm,
selecting the logo and changing the color directly. But in a case where and that could be done before exporting. So if it will be a problem, I can just add the different versions
Yeah.
of the same logo, but producing them in different colors so that it will make using them easy.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
that would be. But
that would be
sometimes I just download it and use it off, like outside of Canva.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Then
and
I'll
then
yeah.
get different versions.
great. So, Benny, if you'll take that action item to put the new logos in the different colors, that would be great. But also, if you could take the action item to turn them black and white so that we can use the high quality images in the, because Warhana will need them for the uh, actual copyright application. So, if you could do all of them in black and white and then change the new ones into multicolors, including black and white, that would be great.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll do.
Is that okay for you to do?
Yeah, I'll take that action item.
Okay, thank you so much, Benny.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Anything else with the logos?
No, it's good.
Good deal. All righty. The vehicle. How's the Hilux, Salam, and how did everything go with that? How has your week been in Accra, I guess?
Yes, that's definitely something to celebrate. The fact that we have the truck.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. My week has been good in Accra. I'm literally done
Hmm.
with everything regarding the vehicle. I got it registered. I got the number plate yesterday.
Okay.
So I think everything with the vehicle is set. I would service it tomorrow
Okay.
and plan to take off to Tamale either on Sunday or Monday, depending
Okay.
on how the servicing go. But I know the servicing will be done by. I'll finish the servicing by close of tomorrow. So
Okay.
I plan to take it to Shell Ghana. They have a service center
Uh-huh.
for vehicles like this that people take their vehicles for servicing. So
Okay.
I intend to do the servicing, do all what I need to do, and then get the receipts. And before I will set up the purchase invoice and just attach them as proof of payments and all of that.
Great.
Yes,
Great. And
yes.
and I think the other thing with the and Benny, you'll be looking at the purchase invoice as well. But all of the receipts for the registration and licensing, as well as the registration documents, should all be tied to the purchase invoice for registration and the purchase of the vehicle. So if you could attach all of those as well, that would be great.
Yes, I would attach them to the purchase invoice I raised to finance the vehicle.
Yeah, okay, great.
So yes, these ones I'm talking of, the servicing and other those expenses I spoke of yesterday, it would be related to the post-purchase expenses. But for the pre-purchase, I'll attach the vehicle costs, the receipts, the registration cost, and then the insurance and the cover, the bucket cover
Okay.
that
And
I've done. Yeah.
and then Salam is what I need to do, and Benny, you should be aware of this as well, is that um, I need to create new items for you as part of the vehicle maintenance and fuel expenses.
Oh, okay.
And so
Okay.
when you do the just so we're sure to keep that separate, so we can when you do the item, I'm going to take the action item to work with Benjamin uh, to uh, to create the item that allows you to choose maintenance expenses for the vehicle, and then also for fuel expenses for the vehicle, and then you'll use those codes for the Ghana vehicle, office vehicle.
Okay.
And we should have one, honestly, Salam. So tell me how the insurance was paid. It's paid annually, correct?
Yes, it's paid annually.
Okay. So have you that purchase invoice has already been committed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So it's fine, but I'll create an item for that in the future as well.
Okay.
So that we track fuel, insurance, and maintenance on the vehicle.
That would be great. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then Benjamin, I'll get with. Do you want me to do that, or do you want me to do that with you on the phone, Benny?
Yeah, I think I would be happy if we could do that together.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, great. So
Yeah.
maybe right after this meeting, does that work for you, or that be too late?
Yeah, it's fine after this meeting. Yeah.
Okay, great. So after the meeting, we'll take the action item to go ahead and create those 3 items, and I'll show you how to do that. Perfect. Thank you for
All
that.
right.
Thanks, Salam,
Okay.
for that, and excellent work on getting the registration and the service and all the things that we need um, to keep the vehicle in good working order and also be able to utilize it going forward to save on rental expenses, etc. So great work. And then Salam, did you have a chance to create the sales invoice yet for the donation portion?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay, I just was curious if you would take the action item to do that, that would be great.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, and then as well, give me Dr. Kwaku's email address too, so I can send that initial thank you email before we do the plaque later in April as well.
Okay. I'm at his office actually, so I'll just request that and send it to
Okay, perfect. That
Okay,
works great.
great.
you.
All right, grant and audits. I'll let Warihana go ahead and share some more good news. We met earlier this week about another grant opportunity that she came across, so I will let her go and talk about that to the rest of the team, please.
Okay, so last week I came across another grant opportunity from the AJA Foundation. So they support NGOs that do work in areas of wash, health, and education.
Hmm.
And they are keen on women empowerment. So they even look at water, like the provision of water, digging boreholes as a way of empowering women in rural communities. And this is how they see it.
Hmm.
You see, rural communities mostly is the girl child that is in charge of house chores. So
Uh-huh.
if there's no water, then they have to walk distance to look for water.
Hmm.
And they have to do this before they are able to get to school.
Right.
And then by then, their male counterparts would have spent time in school, probably time studying.
Hmm.
And as a result, they would end up being behind their male counterparts because they have a lot more work to do at home.
Hmm.
But by providing water, then it gives them time to do things that uplifts them, that empowers them, instead
Hmm.
of spending too much time on chores.
Hmm.
And they have two main donors or funders of their projects. Um, the first one is UNICEF. So, yes. And then another one is called Macaulay Coley Foundation. It's a US based organization and they have dug about 350 boreholes.
Hmm.
That's a good number. So I'm assuming that part of the donation goes to the water projects that they fund.
Hmm.
I looked at their funding history. It was really impressive. Um, they funded organizations, 109 organizations, each with less than 25,000 USD, 18 organizations with 25,000 to 50,000 USD, 11 organizations with 50 to 100,000 USD, then 10 with 100 to 250 USD, 8 organizations with 250 to 500 USD, 500,000, and then 4 organizations with 500,000 USD to 1 million USD, and then 3 organizations have been supported with over 1 million USD. Now,
Beautiful.
just the two of the 3 areas, that's water and health. The Northern Health Shield fits perfectly in these 2 areas. The health aspect being the main operations at the hub, and then the water being the anchor assets that we intend to set up near the health hub.
Hmm.
So, in applying for this, I applied the same approach that we used when we were applying for the ACT Foundation grant. I don't know if we still remember. In that application, we indicated that Give Basic Needs was going to set up 2 hubs, and then we were asking for money to set up 2 more hubs. So the amount we were asking for was 342,000 USD. So that was the same approach I used in applying for this particular grant. Now, this application process was also somehow similar to the ACT Foundation because the first step is sending them a short contact form with your organization name, your website, then a short message about what you do, and then the intervention, as well as how much you want from them. Because one of the decision areas from their end would be if your request fits within their year's budget.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and then I submitted it. And in my interactions with, when I had a meeting with Kevin and Abbie, one of the concerns, okay, one of the things that we spoke about was um, in the ACT Foundation application, we said we were setting up two, and then we will set up two more with their grant. The same approach we applied when we were submitting our application to the AJA Foundation. But it doesn't mean that Give Basic Needs is going to set up four hubs.
Mm-hmm.
It means that we're going to set up two, and then AJA Foundation will set up two, and then the ACT Foundation will also set up two because it's two at the end. And the reason why we even have to set up these two is just so that we can also demonstrate our commitment to the intervention.
Mm-hmm.
But after we've set up the two, and then we've gotten the grant to set up two more or four more, subsequently, Give Basic Needs wouldn't have to set up, we wouldn't have to continue to set up hubs. So, for example, let's say in future we're applying for another grant from Ben Foundation when we have already set up, let's say four. We don't need to set up two more, and then Ben will set up two more again. At that point, we have demonstrated our works to people, and it will be easy to convince them to give us our like the grant without having to set up, hubs, unless it is a grant that strictly require that, unless it's like a matching grant kind of situation. Even in that case, we can manage our financials. We don't have to set up a full hub. We can just decide to, let's say, handle some aspect. Maybe Give Basic Needs can say we will set up the borehole, which is let's say 8,000,
Yeah.
and then the grant will do everything else to get a full hub functioning.
Right.
So that was one of the grants that I applied for last week. And then the platforms that I said I wanted to get us established on, some of them require the audited financial statements. So we are waiting for that. One of these platforms is the UN Partner Portal, which gives us access to opportunities from UNICEF, UNDP, and all the UN related organizations. But those that did not require the audited statements to get us set up, for example, the Rotary Foundation, I have sent my expression of interest to them. I'm just waiting to hear back from them.
Great.
So once they get back to me with a positive feedback, the next steps would be letting me join a club. It could be a local club and then an international club,
Mm-hmm.
but usually the projects are awarded to clubs. People within a club need to belong to a club. I have also created our account on Global Giving. I'm just waiting for the approval. I have also created um, our account on Development Aid. That place, though it gives you visibility, upon creating the account and navigating around the platform, I realized that it will even be much more useful in accessing grant opportunities because they have a lot of opportunities listed on that platform.
Uh-huh.
But the visibility comes in when, let's say, a grantor comes there and they are looking for specific organizations that are doing for specific things and they decide to connect with you. Um, What else? Okay.
So Warihana, just to stop you there for just 1 minute. So, with regards to the grant application, the AGA, that's amazing work, and I think that we should AJA, sorry, that we should talk about the capacity that we feel we have to confirm that we have that capacity for implementation, and then also to ask. So let's ask that really quick. Salam, how are you with implementing 6 health hubs uh, potentially within 18 months? Does that sound like you have the capacity to do that? And we'll be able to do that with finding RN entrepreneurs, with finding other staffing, and running the supply chain, etc. And at what point do you think that we need to hold off on more health hubs?
Yes, I think we can implement that. I would say we can implement as much as possible because as we go, um, we would be training volunteers alongside. We'll be mentoring people alongside
Yeah.
based on their anticipation. And I believe that at a point we will get an indication that we are winning a particular grant, and that grant comes with maybe X number of RN facilities. So at that point, we will scale up in preparation towards the actual implementation period. So I believe that, yeah, as many as we can get, because there's a lot of labor available that is not engaged, because a lot of unemployed youths, both men and women, a lot of unemployed health professionals, a lot of unemployed physical laborers. So I think that the actual implementation work shouldn't be an issue. And as we've discussed before, I know Ben is also talking to someone. I know Warihana also have 1 or 2 people in mind, and I also do, as long alongside us the existing volunteers we have. So as and when we really need to do serious onboarding of new people, I'm sure we can all bring in people, and we can succeed.
And so that's good to know. So I guess my question is that is what I hear you saying is that we will um let's say that Give Basic Needs is the first one to implement a health hub. That would be nice if we did that on our own since we've committed to 2 of them. At the first health hub, I hear you saying that the RN entrepreneur who is establishing that health hub would be training the next chosen individual who would be the next health hub leader. Is that what I hear you saying?
Not entirely, but yes. If we have, let's say, we start operating the first health hub or the first 2, depending on the intervals we complete and launch each of them. I think that the RN with an experience would really contribute much into training more RNs for other health hubs that we will build, because then the the existing RN will come with some real knowledge or experience on ground. And as a team, I mean, at Give Basic Needs level, as we progress, depending on the number of, because we are committed to doing 2 as an organization, but we're also anticipating that we'll get grants to do more. So as we progress beyond the 2, if we realize we are going to do maybe 2 more, making it 4, 3 more, making it 5, or whatever number, then that will inform us the number of hands we need to get on board with us on the implementation aspect. So, for instance, There is this guy who, during our health screening in the office, and when we were doing the end of year party, he was very instrumental in helping us organize those events. Logistically, he's very good. And this is somebody who have shown up volunteering when it comes to logistics in most of our events. So, and there are a number of people like him that at this point we are not just involving them so much because there's no so much for them to do,
Mm-hmm.
that I believe that as we scale, we would be involving people like that alongside. So for the implementation, when it comes to human resource, I think we shouldn't have an issue.
So one thing to keep in mind, I think, as Warihana has pointed out, is that well, all of these grants that she's seeking and part of our initiative at the Give Basic Needs is the female empowerment piece and the fact that we need female nurse entrepreneurs to lead. That doesn't mean that individuals like the male you described can't help. It just means that we need to think about them for the uh, the distribution of medications, or we need to think about that how we can use them in other ways. Is that the way that you see it as well, Warhana?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So the most the two grants that we've applied for so far are usually interested in women empowerment. For the lead RNs, we should aim that they are female, but if we need supporting nurses, then they can be male or female.
Right. Right. So I think it's important to keep that in mind, Salam. And I think that I personally, as the implementer, I feel at this point in the game, we've committed to doing the two health hubs. And so we should have two potentially at this point, like in next week's meeting, we should have two RN entrepreneurs on this call so they can begin to give feedback and listen in and begin essentially seeing the challenges that we have, whether that's during the build out or how soon they'll be employed, all of that. I don't know how we do that, and I'm looking for advice as to what your thoughts are on. But we're having very detailed conversations now about how the hubs will operate. And I feel like the RN leads or the RN entrepreneurs need to be a part of this discussion on a weekly basis. Does anyone agree?
No, I think that's definitely a good idea, especially because we're getting down to, we have the truck and we're getting closer and closer, and it's good for, I think the first two initial ones to be involved in the planning and, because there may be things from a nurse perspective that we don't think of that they will.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Salam, can you comment on that? Let's hear from everybody on that.
Yes, I agree to that. I think since they are those to run the facilities, they should be part right from the implementation. And I think we have confirmed and all agreed on what to do. We've agreed with the implementation guide. We've all agreed on the the structure and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
It's okay to bring the RNs in now so that they get to know and appreciate what is coming and how those facilities will be run when they are done and handed over to them.
Yeah, and even
So
the even to hear the terminology and the words and just becoming more fluent with the process and the implementation plan. That's good. That's good, Salam. Thank you for that. Benny, do you feel that it's time to bring in the RN entrepreneurs into this meeting, or do you think it's too early, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's fine to bring them in.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that they get to know to expect what we are looking at ahead.
Hmm.
Yeah, because when they get involved in the planning stage, it gives them a greater context. Rather than when things are set and then we ask them to proceed. Some of them might be confused on the operations, how we actually want the place to be run. So I think it's fine if we have those people. They can definitely join too. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Benjamin. And Warihana, what are your thoughts on it?
Yes, we can definitely start bringing them in at this point. But what I would suggest is maybe let's say they join. The first discussions can be around the hub, just so that we get their input, and then after that we can excuse them and discuss other things related to other businesses of giveaways. Yeah, but we can definitely bring them in.
Yeah, I agree. Now the question that I have is uh, we've already decided. I believe we've also agreed not only on the implementation plan but the franchise agreement, and that they will need to sign as far as how the operations will be run. My question is, how do we go about the interview process and the application process for the RN entrepreneurs? We have yet to define that. We have the legal structure, I think, in place. We have the implementation plan. We know why we're doing that implementation plan, et cetera. But I don't think we have a process for interviewing and selecting RN entrepreneurs.
I think too we have to get like the job description nailed down as far as like what they can and can't do. We had that other agreement, but we need to do a detailed one with what they can and can't do, like abortions and things of that nature and stuff. We need to work on that.
So we needed maybe we need a job description for the RN entrepreneurs based on the franchise agreement before we have people apply, or and then applications are the next step. And then when maybe we're not ready to bring them in at the next meeting, maybe the next meeting we review the interviews that we had, and Salam and the Presidio can do the interviews to maybe select the candidates that they feel and do some ranking, and then maybe in the subsequent Friday meeting we will actually try to bring them on board a bit more. What are everybody's thoughts on that? Presidio, what do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So focus on the job description and getting applications next. Now that we know we have two positions essentially open, and then bringing them on, because we don't want to bring someone on. I mean, it's not that it would be a waste of time, because they will probably integrate, if not right away, at some point into the process if they're that solid of a candidate. But to go through the interview process is probably the first step. Benjamin, what do you think on that?
I think that's fine. But as we plan to interview, I think it's good we look at the earlier discussions we had, that it would be nice we get someone from the village. So are we considering that, or we are considering applicants from any parts?
I would say only from the villages.
Yeah.
Only from those.
Okay.
I think that would be probably left up to the three of you, because you know the radius of the villages, if you will, as far as what's acceptable within that radius of the village for you to be an RN entrepreneur. And so I think the three of you would need to suggest individuals apply who are within that range. And maybe one of the questions is, how far do you live from hub 1 or hub 2?
Okay, yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
Salam, what do you think on this, the interview process and the application process?
I think that's a good idea, and that would actually give us an opportunity to establish their interest and commitment level before we actually begin to bring them in.
Uh-huh.
So when they go through the interview process, we make sure they understand the job description. They are actually applying with all seriousness to work,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually have the zeal, and not just that. Oh, uh, we are building a health hub, and we want you to be an RN
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur to the hub because you live around the community or you are from the community and you know the terrain and you are done with school, you don't have a job, so join us in our meeting and let's discuss. People may come that way and not really have real interest, or
Mm-hmm.
not take things serious because they didn't go through any due process. So I
Right.
believe that the interview session, um, making sure they understand the job description. So I actually think the interview session should even be just one time interview.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we can have two sessions. So first we have an interaction. We get to establish your interest and commitment. We furnish you with all the documents you go through, and then you come back to us and we interact to see your level of understanding. And with what you now know, are you still willing to go ahead
Mm-hmm.
before we actually? And I think that it is not something we should rush because
Right.
we are now going to put up the structures. And
Mm-hmm.
when we are done, the furnishing and all of that. So there's time, and we can interview them as many times as we want to. We feel comfortable that we
Mm-hmm.
can really entrust those facilities to them.
Yeah. Yeah, because the success, I think that's a great point, is that we may be rushing by trying to bring them in early. Communication is critical, but having the right person is almost even more critical. And I think that's what I hear you saying, Salam, is that we need to make sure that the right people are on the call, and that the overall success of the hub will be strictly dependent on that individual in which we're hiring.
Their personality,
Everything.
everything for
Yeah.
sure.
Their ability to manage conflict with potential patients, their ability to understand the overall concept, to understand that their wages literally will come from their efforts, not from us indefinitely. There will be a stipend, but that's limited. So all of those things, as you pointed out, Salam, are critical. And by the time they get to this meeting, they should have been essentially already vetted through yourself, Salam, and the Presidio. And then once you feel that they're good, then and only then should we bring them into this call.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, Warihana, how do you feel about this interview process and the fact that it may take 2 or 3 weeks to get the people? It will take, we can set the action item to get the job description and the job posting done easily. We can do that by middle of next week, if not sooner. Um, but with regards to getting applications and initial interviews and discussions and things, this process could take 2 to 3 weeks before we're ready to bring someone in to this type of meeting, maybe even longer. What are your thoughts on that, Warren?
Yes, I think it's some a process that we should, yeah, like you're all saying, not rush.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'll take our time. We interview the RNs. Then when we settle that, okay, this is actually an RN or a nurse that we're going to work with,
Mm-hmm.
then we can bring them. We can start letting them join the meetings. But it's definitely not something that we can need to, like, we need to rush. Yeah. So I agree.
Okay. Great. And so I don't care who's on the interview process team. I don't know. I assume that is what'll happen is when uh, Salam once the interview process starts, the president will probably be sending out meeting announcements in her Google Calendar, and then you'll just make everyone except for Salam optional. Does that sound good? And then if Benjamin wants to participate, or Warhan has time and wants to hear from a specific candidate, um, then they can, and they have time, then they can do that. If not, the decision will ultimately be up to Salam and the Presidio. Does that sound right? Where we make people optional, or do we think we should all be there?
Ben agrees.
Ben agrees.
Yeah, I would definitely like to be part of the interviews.
Okay,
So
great.
yeah.
Yeah, great. And if you think that everyone should be, because it's such a critical role in the success, then please voice that concern as well. Now, Warihana, it's up to you, or as well, it's up to all of us to decide how to go forward. So, do you think that we should all be there, or leave people optional?
I think it would be good to have all of us there.
Okay.
So, we're all going to work with this person,
Yeah.
and we're all going to look for different things from the person. So at least
Hmm.
if we are all there, then we have a higher chance of selecting a good candidate.
I agree. I agree. And
Yeah.
and Benjamin, do you agree with that as well?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. And
Yeah, sure.
Salam, you're good with the idea of all of us being a part of the interview process because of the tight integration of the group and the way that we'll be working with them?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, great. So then we'll
But I,
send.
I, I am also
Yeah.
I am also thinking of that we have either the Presdo, Warhana, and Ben interview them. So I excuse myself because these are people I've already spoken to,
Aha.
and then they just talk to them, identify whatever, come up with whatever reason they think this candidate A or B is better,
Mm-hmm.
and then because I'm going to be working with them,
Yeah.
and there are people I've already spoken to. So there's
Yeah.
that tendency somebody might come back to you asking, um, but you said I was a good candidate. Why am I not selected?
Aha.
So
This
it
is
is
very,
best.
yeah, very good leadership on your part, Salam, to make that statement and to excuse yourself from the interview process. I think that's actually really good, and that's the way that it should go. I agree with that, in that we should excuse you, Salam, from the selection process. You just bring us the candidates um, that you've talked to or might be options. And then Warhana, myself, the Presidio, and Benjamin will agree and select the candidates, excusing you from the final decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. Thank you for noting that and bringing that up as it's a very critical part, because we don't want to put you in a situation where, like you said, people are coming to you. You can simply say you just weren't chosen. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And so I think though, Salam, if you could give perspective as to, and maybe Benjamin knows this or Warahana knows this, perspective as to if they say they're 1 kilometer away from the village, you guys need to give us perspective as to what that distance really means. Will they be able to do the job or not? If they say they live 2 kilometers from the village, or maybe they say they live in the village. Like we don't have a spatial concept of where what's acceptable for someone to travel to the hub and perform duties. So just make sure that either the people that you're asking to submit the application for, or at the end, before we make decisions, go ahead and give us some perspective as to how far those individuals actually are from the hub. That would be helpful because we don't have that spatial knowledge. I personally don't.
No, that's a good point, though.
Yeah. Very
For
good.
sure.
Very good. Okay, great. Hey, that's a great. And so I will work, because this is another thing for Benjamin as well. I was going to say, if you want to learn more about ERP Next and the way that we do job postings. I can work on that with you and when I get ready to do the posting, but I'll work on the description with the Presidio as I've drafted the implementation plan and which got approved, and also the franchisee document. I'll work with the Presidio to take that action item to get that job description out to everyone in the coming days. And then, Benjamin, do you want to understand how that gets posted to ERPNext and our job board, or is that something that you think is out of your scope and you're not really interested in?
Yeah, I think this is part of my scope as far
Okay.
as compliance and getting new people on board is concerned, or ERP Next is concerned. So I'll definitely want to
Okay.
see how the process goes. Yeah.
Great. So when the description's ready, then I'll go ahead and reach out to you and we'll have, it's not difficult. It's not like balancing the accounts or anything like that.
Okay.
It's very, very straightforward. You'll pick it up very easy, etc. So I will let you know when it's time to do the posting. And then when the posting is ready, we'll go ahead and share it with the group. And then anyone whom you want to apply can apply.
All right, sure.
Great.
Excellent.
Great.
All
Great
right.
work. Thank you for that.
Anything else on grants or the Health Hub right now?
Oh, I had one other thing on the grants. Warihana, were you able to add, or could you take the action item to add um, well, I guess we don't add them to our about page. I guess my question is, how are we dealing with the projects and the tracking of the ACA grant status and the AJA application using the tasks items that I created as a template? Is that something I don't know. I don't do with the projects very much, so I don't know where those are. But is that task list that I created sufficient and you want to go forward with it? Do we have modifications to make? I just want to make sure we're tracking these, and then ultimately, once we win a grant, it'll go on our webpage for tracking there that we've been funded in the past by these organizations. So, Warhana, can you comment on how we're going to manage these projects and those task lists that I created uh, in your thoughts?
Yes, so I looked at the list that you created, and it's very comprehensive.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Thank you.
so before you created the tax list, I had a Google Sheet template,
Okay.
a Google Sheet that I was making use of.
Mm-hmm.
But yours is much better. It's more detailed than what I had.
Okay. Okay.
So I will transfer what I have in my Google Sheet template to what you created, and then yeah, I'll be using that going forward. And then once we win a grant, then we can create it as a project on ERPNext and then manage the various activities, correct?
Actually, I think is what we want to do is we want to manage from the point in which the Presidio agrees to apply for the grant. That's the point at which the project should be created, because then it will be given a grant ID, and we can always reference that grant by ID and know exactly which tasks we're on and what needs to be completed. Because as you saw in the list that I generated, there were things like
I'm sorry,
that.
where's the list that you generated?
The list that I generated, I shared in the Health Hub, I believe.
On Discord.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Is that where I put it? Does
I
anyone know
think
where that is?
This is a
yes, it
franchise.
was in the grants. It was in the
Oh,
grants sales channel.
yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. And then up here, and this is the
This one.
template. Yeah. So this template, the Presidio, you can see the first thing is the pre-project requirement, which there's no task ID for, and that essentially is to get approval for applying for the grant. At that point, we should create the project. And so a grant ID will be generated, and then all of these tasks will be part of the template. And Warhana, you haven't been a part of the organization's a giving event yet, but we do the similar thing for each of our giving events in that we have a template, and then we can make sure that we do things like celebrate them on social media, track them from beginning to end for compliance. So Benjamin has an idea of where every grant is, and can track its status should someone ask him, or we have an issue with the grant, or um, you go on holiday, or whatever it might be. We can continue to do that. So there shouldn't be anything in your sheet. Now, that being said, I don't know that my task list contains everything that your sheet does. And so the things that we need to add to my task list before we assign it to the grant projects would be anything that's in your sheet that we need to track as well. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does, Kevin. So what I'll do is I'll look at your task list
Uh-huh.
again and
Okay.
then compare it to the information that I was tracking in my templates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it would be good to have everything on ERPNext from the onset.
Yeah.
Like the moment it's discussed with Presido, then it's onboarded or is added onto ERPNext. I'm just wondering, do I have access to create a project or Presido would create it or Salam?
I created one for the ACT Foundation, and I can do one for the AJA as well.
But at some point in
Is that
the
what you mean?
future, yeah. So the president has done it in the past. So this is different than what Salam would do. Salam's is like the implementation, where yours is like the grant. And so we're going to try and keep those separate, unless, and so there might be one grant, for example, that funds multiple implementations, or there might be, so that relationship is different, and they all have different requirements for each project's steps, like celebrating, for example, on social media. When we do a giving event project, some of the tasks have to do um, with posting to our social media. So Benjamin goes through as part of compliance and says, we've done the post to YouTube, we've done the blog post, we've done the Facebook post, we've done the Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. So all of those things are in a list that we can just check off, and then when it's complete, for compliance reasons. So starting off like with a project that is, they're named. You might see it, Warihana. You should see it if you're in Smiley right now. It's called PROJ dash grant, and then it has the dash year and then a sequence number. And the title of this one is ACT Health Hub 1.
I
Are
just
you
I just log
okay?
in
Yeah,
and
if
check.
you, it's fine, no
Yeah.
problem. So I guess the point too is that Warhana, by building it into Smiley right away, each grant
Mm,
application, once it's been approved, should you have travel expenses or presentation expenses, we have something to bill it to when it comes to
yeah.
you creating a purchase invoice, for example.
Okay.
So that's another
Yeah.
reason that we want to do it from the very beginning. Once the president says, yes, let's apply, then we should um, go ahead and create uh, we should go ahead and create the project in Smiley.
Okay. Yeah.
And
And
Ben,
I'm on Smiley now. I see the project.
okay, so you
Yeah.
can see the ACT Health Hub 1.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. And so is what we would have here.
I haven't done one for the AJA. What was the exact date that you submitted the application?
Let me check.
Okay.
So I
So
want to
that
just give.
was on,
Oh, go ahead, Warhana.
yes, that was on 3rd February.
Okay. Perfect. Thank
So
you.
so here's what you see when you see this ACT Health Hub 1 project, or grant 2006-1, is under tasks. You'll see there are none.
Okay.
But when the project is created in the future, we will create a task template, and that's what I shared. So is what'll happen is I will create that task template after you make sure that all of your tasks are in there, and then there will be
Okay.
like 26 tasks for the grant or however many there are. And then you'll know and you'll be able to comment and work on each of those tasks until the grant is finally closed.
Okay.
Salam,
Can you read?
I didn't read it. Salam, let me see. Not sure I'm capable here.
Yeah, all the way over.
Sorry.
Yeah, there. What did he say?
Please, my phone battery is running low. Just want note to finish in case the battery fails. Okay, that sounds good, Salam. Thank you for that update. And before we talk about grants, for one, I want to divert just 1 second if Salam's phone is dying. Salam, can you comment on Daniel's application for the work residency? Just with regards to, he asked the question yesterday if he has to actually fly to Ghana to do the biometrics portion, or if he can get his visa and travel to the consulate in the US and get the biometrics traced or recorded there without flying all the way to Ghana. In that he would be able to do this a lot easier if he only had to fly to Washington D.C. as opposed to travel all the way to Ghana just to get the biometrics. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, so I don't know if the Ghana embassy in Washington D.C. has immigration officers there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, that I cannot say, but this is handled by immigration officers, and I'm sure if immigration officers are there and he can show proof, which he has, that he's on a board in an organization in Ghana and he intends traveling to Ghana to do some volunteer works and wants a work and resident permit, maybe they could do it for him there. But I don't know. Usually I know that they use immigration officers in country for purposes of verifying and providing license for people coming into the country. So I don't know of the consulate.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
We just wanted to check because it would be far significant, and we're thinking that we're trying to talk to him to decide if there's a chance and an opportunity for him to just fly to Ghana for a couple of days because of his current work schedule so that
No, but I think
he can get this
That would
done.
have
And he brought up the idea of being able to fly maybe to Washington D.C. at the embassy and getting it done. And we said we had no idea.
And I just did a
I think
and there's no
this can be
Ghana.
done anytime he's in Ghana. Yeah.
It has to be done in Ghana because there's no Ghana immigration services in DC. So DC is just
Yes. So
directly.
anytime he comes.
Okay. Okay. So we
and
will.
how urgent is it that we get Daniel on board? Is it okay with the three, with Luke and Kevin and I, or I'm just wondering.
No, it's not a matter of urgency. It's just as and when any of you is in Ghana and can go through the process to obtain it. So even if he will come next year, next 2 years, we can wait. It doesn't still stop him from being on the board. Um, it you only need a work and residence permit when you are in Ghana and you intend to engage in physical work in Ghana.
Okay.
That is where you may be questioned if you have the permit to actually work in Ghana.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's
Okay,
good. So
and
that,
that's good. So
yeah.
we will let him know that it is not of urgency and that he will get it when he travels next year.
Yeah.
Does that work for you, Salam?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay. And we're not putting the organization in jeopardy, nothing like that because of it.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's good. Sorry to distract from the grant, but I wanted to do that because only Salam, I think, could answer that. Salam, do you have anything else before your phone dies? And then we'll get back to the grants really quick.
No, I just wanted to quickly update on the audit. I've shared a screenshot of the
my chat with the auditor on the WhatsApp group.
Mm-hmm.
She said um, at their level they are done. They only need their bosses to go through and confirm before they will share with us. But the bosses, I think they've had because the year has just begun. They already had some audit engagements that the bosses are working on.
Uh-huh.
So our documents has actually been on the boss decks since Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
and he says that he's hoping that over the weekend the boss will go through it and we can have them.
Okay, great. And remind me, just, I'm sorry if I have to repeat myself, but the GT bank account, do you now have everything you need to open that or not yet? You still need the
Uh,
verifications and the minutes from the Presidio.
no, the only thing I'll need is that after they are done with the audit, I'll need them to give me a letter recommending that I can open the account. Then I'll open the account, and when the Presido and yourself, you are in Ghana, we can add you as signatories to the account.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
so the only thing we're waiting on for the bank account is also the auditors.
Yes, please.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
That's great. And we will also the Presidio or myself, who's going to take the action item to get those documents about the formal vote and all.
Oh, no, it's mine.
Okay, so the Presidio is going to take the action item for the notes of this meeting to get you all of the voting information and the way that the vote went down, uh, formally adding the three of you to the board. We'll get that to each of you for your records.
Okay. Okay.
And then we'll
Thank you.
also get that registered in the state of Nevada.
Hello.
Okay, great. Great. So you could stay on, Salam, and if your phone dies, that's fine, but I think we're good.
I do have one question for
Oh,
Salam.
I'll stay.
Sorry, this is turning into the Salam show.
No. So Ren asked if they're getting in on the 12th. Let me look at his message too, so I don't speak wrong. They're getting in on the 12th, the morning of the 12th. And so he is wondering if how they could get from the airport to the hotel, and can they stay in the same hotel that we'll be staying at the night of the 13th? Do you know any of that, Salam? Salam? Oh.
That's all.
Ah, shoot.
That's okay.
Question.
That's okay. That was a good try.
Okay.
Ren is, I'm gonna say, Ren is concerning me. He's sucking a lot of energy out of our entire group, and it's kind of starting to piss me off. But that's besides the point. That's between all of us, but we're struggling a
No,
little.
I understand. I mean, yeah, I get it. And they tried to get in on the 13th and they weren't
Oh, they
able
weren't
to.
able to.
Yeah.
I
So,
see. I thought it
for
was
what?
just part of their personal travel.
No. He
Whatever.
said they tried to get in on the 13th and they were unable to for whatever reason. How they're taking, getting there and stuff.
I
and
see. I
finances
see.
and
I
stuff.
thought it was different.
Yeah.
I apologize. I step back. Okay. So now
That's fine.
let's
I will
talk
reach
about
out.
the grants.
I will reach out to Salam and follow up with that question.
Okay,
So
great.
that's good. So I think
The grants. So what we were saying is why it's important for them to be created. Warihana is going to go through and add to my list, and then we're going to build the template. And you will have permission to build projects, Warihana. I don't know if you do right now, but one thing I want to caution the group on is that I don't know if you can assign templated tasks to projects that have already been created. So I would hold off on creating the second AJA project until the task list is complete as a template. And then we'll go through the process of creating the project with the template. And then all of those tasks will be a part of the template of the project for you to work Warhana and Ben for you to confirm we're in compliance with.
it looks like you can add tasks.
Individual ones, but we
Yeah.
can't add like 25 all at once.
Right. And I mean, that's fine. I could take the action item to enter in the tasks and stuff
For the
if
one that
needs.
we have, but we also need to test the template. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and wait on creating the AJA one until Warahana gets me the final list, and then Benjamin, do you know how to create that task template? Do you care about, do you want me to teach you that too? Or do you want me to just do that?
Okay, I think it's okay if I join.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay, so
to see
we'll
how
do
it
that.
goes. So.
We'll do that together once that's finalized, and then you'll be able to see. So I guess Benjamin, the other thing is you should be comfortable, and the president should be comfortable with, from a compliance standpoint, that all of the tasks that are listed meet your needs as far as compliance go for everything that Warihana is working on. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes, yes.
So if you need another task, let's get it done. Let's get it added so that we build it out. If the president needs another task, whether your task might be social media related, Benjamin, like you feel like, hey, when we get awarded the grant, I think it's in there as that we celebrate it on our social media platforms, and so whatever those are, make sure that that we need to get the action item in place for Benjamin and the Presidio to finalize that along with Warahana's input, and then we'll build it and create the new AJA grant project. Does that all sound good to everybody, or does anybody have questions on that?
Yeah, sounds good to me. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great.
Excellent. Okay, and we've covered the audit selection, deciding between the standard and the NGO specific footnote audit drafts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what that means.
I don't know why it generated it. Audit selection, deciding between the standard and non-NGO specific footnote audit drafts to maximize success for upcoming grant applications. That was on the agenda before too.
Standardized
Yes,
this.
Benny.
Yep. So I think from the last meeting, Salam was saying that the auditors had some inputs, which he spoke to them that, yeah, they produce the audit in two folds. One that has their inputs as a footnote, and the other one too that has our specifications too. So I think maybe that is what it's all about.
Yes, that's excellent point. Is that
Okay.
there are two versions of the audit, and Warahana is going to decide which one looks best for grant opportunities, and Salam was going to try to get both so that we had them. So perfect. Yep,
Okay.
that's exactly what that is. Thank you for that.
All right, and we did the April trip logistics about Daniel's visa and his residency status. Okay, that's what I had for the main agenda. Ongoing action items. Salam is still working with picking up and getting the Helix everything there. Let's see.
I'm going to take the action item to pay Kristina for her services. Once I get that invoice created, or that purchase invoice created in Smiley, I guess that'll be done through the Presidio.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Presidio will create the purchase invoice, and then I'll take the action item to make that payment to Christina in the coming days, and it will be done in USDC.
Okay, perfect. We were able to get our passports photos to Luke to Luke to Salam. Luke is still working on his. I gently reminded him yesterday, and he's going to put that on his list to do on his way home from work today. So we got those to him. And I am still reviewing the Amazon supply lists for the April trip. So I'm still working on that.
I wanted to make sure that I know Salam's not here, but it should show up in the minutes. Is that Salam during this travel should note that Luke, as a board member, when it comes to hotels, for example, will not fall into the same categories other travelers because he is a board member. So when it comes to hotel reservations and things, there'll need to be a clear split between Luke, myself, and the Presidio when it comes to expenses, as those will be covered through the foundation. All others will come directly from the travelers.
And so in the WhatsApp group, Salam did post the reservations for the room.
Right, and that was my question. I had seen that, and I saw Luke there, but I didn't know if that was related. So
Right.
if you want to take that action item to work with Salam on that. and make sure that.
I would prefer you did because the finances and knowing how to keep everything separately and stuff. I'm not.
Okay. Well, we're going to
I'm
make a
happy.
note that it just needs to be discussed and that Salam needs to know that any expenses related to the Presidio, myself, or Luke in this for this trip will be covered by the foundation. Any expenses outside of the three of us will be covered by the individual, and that those dollars need to keep kept separate. So perfect.
Awesome. That is all I had for the agenda. Warihana, do you have anything else?
Yes. I want to discuss something, and then maybe we can think about it, and we put in more thoughts next week Friday, or if it's not a good idea at all, Kevin, President, you can just tell me no.
Okay.
No, we love these ideas. Keep
Yeah.
them coming. This is why you're the leader, one of the leaders we chosen here. So yes, let's hear it. I'm excited.
Okay, so um cervical cancer has become one of the common cancers among women worldwide.
Hmm.
Um, in 2024 alone, it claimed 350,000 lives, and organizations have realized that now. So, in my research for grants, I have seen that there are a lot of grants going towards interventions related to cervical cancer, test and treat. Maybe Abby would have much knowledge about this. I don't really know much about cervical cancer. Is this something, is there an aspect to it that we can easily add to the health hub so that we can also explore some of these grant opportunities? Or is too complicated to handle at our hubs?
So are you thinking like screening services at the hubs?
Yes, and the only screening method that I know is the pap smear.
Mhm.
I don't know if there are other ways to test or screen.
Not to my knowledge. The Pap smear, I believe, still is the gold standard for that testing. And can nurses perform that testing? I don't know. Like in the U.S., they can. It has to be done. The exam is done by a physician. So I don't know if
Mm,
nurses can do that type of exam in the hubs, or is that within their scope of practice? I'm not sure.
yeah, I'm not sure either.
Okay.
Is it?
Um, yeah,
I don't know anything about it, but does it require like a microscope or what? How does the test? Is it visually identifiable?
They
it's a.
take a sample of the inside of the cervix, and then they send that sample away for to be tested.
Hmm. So they send it away, like to
To a
be looked
lab.
under a microscope or to be dipped in a solution, and if it turns red you've got it, and if it turns blue you don't, or like I mean I'm just being
Yeah.
I'm talking in my terms, like I don't know, like what's the test actually look like. I think it'd be
I'm not
great if we could do it.
absolutely. I'm not sure what the test looks like. Like once it goes to the lab, what it is,
Mm-hmm.
how they get the results back and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean that's a great question. It's a great something to think of for sure. I just have to think of once the nurse, if the nurse can do it in the hub, the exam and the testing of it, and then does it need to be refrigerated before the sample is set off? When the sample is sent off, where does it go? There's some other logistics I think we need to think about as far as,
yeah.
because we don't have refrigeration in the hubs, we don't plan to. And then how long will it take to get to the testing site and how?
so,
And
so
another aspect to it is the vaccination for, I think, young girls between, is it 8 to a certain age? They came around some schools to run the vaccines.
Mhm.
Maybe something that we could add at the hub level could be the vaccines for young girls
Mhm.
uh-huh.
in there. both communities that will be set up in.
Aha,
Is that
Yeah.
for the HPV?
HPV.
I really don't know much, but then I just heard a circular that they were giving a vaccine against cervical cancer to young girls in
Yeah.
schools.
Correct.
Yeah.
Males, I think males get that as well, don't they?
Yeah, our boys, we had our boys immunized as well for that too.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
it doesn't show up as cervical cancer, but it shows up like as testicular cancer or something else when it manifests itself in boys. So it's actually a vaccine that is that is for both genders.
Okay.
It may be administered differently, but it is not only on the cervical cancer side, it's also for males as well. Whether I think both of those are great things to look at. If I want to try to recap. The first thing is if it's a vaccine like the HPV, the human papillomavirus, a vaccine, if that's the case, then it's totally within, and then it's within the scope. I think we can already confirm it's if it's a vaccine, it's within the scope of the nurse is
Okay.
practice. But if so that works as that we could give HPV. The question is then is that the second part of that is can the nurse in Ghana perform a cervical screening, a pap smear? And then third is if they can, what are the logistics of having it test results performed? Like Abbie mentioned, the refrigeration, how long does it take? Can we get back to that individual, and tell them come back in 3 days, I'll know the answer? How does that work? The logistics of that. And then the third is not necessarily that we could do treatment, I don't think, if they're
Yep.
positive, but we could then at least direct them towards a hospital where they could potentially get. It's kind of like an HIV/AIDS practice where if we identify someone, we hand them off to someone else if they are positive. But if they're, but if it's a, but the other, and then on the other side is that if it's the scope of work. Then on the other side with the HPV, the human papillomavirus, the question is, does that need to be refrigerated, and what is the stability of that at what temperatures for what durations? Because if it's stable, like the typhoid conjugate or the hepatitis B for 7 to 14 days without refrigeration, then all we need to do is work with Salam and the supplier, and we could absolutely give the HPV vaccination, which would qualify as cervical cancer preventative measures for females, but also for males as well.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
That's what I hear. I don't know if I got it right or not, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, you did. You got it right.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So why doesn't the president maybe take that action item?
Yeah, I can research and look into the vaccine. Does it need to be refrigerated? And then also with the pap smear, if it can, if a nurse can perform that and see.
And I guess Warihana, if you could follow up with maybe a nurse there, we could also ask Zuara in Discord. Maybe she would know straight up if that's within their scope of practice, as she's the only one nurse that I know from Ghana in the Discord, and she has been a bit active, which is great. We're super excited about that. But maybe that's something that she could answer either from the Presidio or from Warihana asking her, and then it will be up to Salam to try to procure the supply chain for that for the HPV, or if the tests are required, how do we get results back, kind of thing. And I think there's one other point that we should be aware of and only Warihana can answer this, is culturally, where are we with the pap smear? In females in the villages, are they going to be like, no way, not this? Or are they going to be, this is serious, I should do this?
I think there's a lack of awareness about cervical cancer among women, even in the urban cities. Not a lot of women in urban cities even know much about cervical cancer.
Uh-huh.
So with our target group, that is being rural communities,
Mm-hmm.
I think our 5 points of entry would be first to educate them on cervical cancer
Mm-hmm.
and the effects of it. They just getting to hear that when you get to a stage of having cervical cancer, there's a particular stage where you might not be able to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, they would get to understand that, oh yeah, this is actually a serious issue, and not even just being able to have kids. It's something that could actually end your life. It's life threatening. So I think
Absolutely.
once you have, yeah, that understanding of how dangerous this particular disease is,
Mm-hmm.
then they will be willing to get screened. And culturally, it will be a woman that they will be comfortable letting them screen them.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Because, like, I have to bring that up because there might be treatments that or things that are just extremely taboo and would never go forward. So culture to be culturally sensitive, and I think, as you pointed out, to start with the education is critical. And honestly, that's why when you looked at the design that I put together of the health hub, I used that. I heard you say in my mind, Warahana, the component of education and how it's so important to all of these grants. And so when I designed the health hub, I designed that one flexible education slash treatment room that we could
Mm,
actually teach a course or
okay.
educate the females on the importance of cervical cancer, et cetera, in that small setting if we needed to. So hopefully that's uh, already built into the health hub as an
Okay.
education facility as well. That's why I did it that way.
Mm,
Did you
okay.
did you did you see that when you looked at the floor plan? Maybe you didn't even see it.
I did notice it. I
Oh,
noticed
okay,
it in the
good,
book.
good. Okay, good, great, great. So, yeah, so hopefully that's enough of an education space, and it can
Yeah.
obviously serve as a treatment area. We can do education outside if the group is bigger, etc., in the pavilion. But I just wanted you to know and make sure that I designed it with enough of an educational space that it's going to make the grantor happy and comfortable with our execution of the education portion of all of the things that the Health Hub does.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And even with, let's say we do decide to pursue this cervical cancer as part of the things that we'll be doing at the health hub,
Mm-hmm.
something that we could easily add still in the cancer ranges, breast cancer examination,
Uh-huh.
uh, which is easy to do. And I know nurses are permitted to do it in Ghana, and
Uh-huh.
even educating women to be able to do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's something that we could add.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's super important, and those are excellent points.
Because we talked about getting the examples, for the hubs and stuff of the breasts, the fake breasts that have the lumps in them, and how to, palpate the area and the breast to find the lumps and what they're looking for and stuff like that. So that definitely fits as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's great.
Do you know, Warhana, those are those uh I'll call them dummies, but I don't know what they are. Like mannequins, I guess. I don't know what you call them. What do they call them?
Yeah, it's not really a mannequin, but it's just like, I don't
What
know.
is it?
It looks
That
like a boob.
Yeah, but
It's a breast.
a breast, right? But I'm saying is like is that something that's available in Ghana for explaining and educating, or is that something we should absolutely be bringing with us?
I've seen it in some hospitals, but honestly, I don't know where they get them, whether they import it or they buy it from Ghana.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
I think
So
that's a
as
question
we
for
get
whoever.
as we get the the nurses online with us more, and we identify the RN entrepreneurs, we can discuss that with them to see if that's an item that we should be bringing because they're not readily available in Ghana or yeah. So we keep that in mind.
Okay.
That's great.
That's a great observation and a great point that fits exactly with our mission. Thank you for sharing that, Warahana.
Yeah. Thank you, Sue.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Anything else for the meeting, Warahana?
No, that's all from me.
Okay.
Kevin, one last one.
Uh-huh.
The Northern Health Shield page on the website.
Uh-huh.
I think we've done some updates to the should I say the concept? Not much has changed, but some of the documents definitely changed.
Uh-huh.
Or looking at the page itself, do you think you want me to change anything on it?
Yeah, I was looking at the versions of the PDF files that are out there, and part of my
Mhm.
push to get those documents formalized and agreed to, like for example, the implementation plan, et cetera, was so that when your grantors go to the site, they can get the latest information. And so,
Okay.
as far as I'm concerned, I believe they're all up to date. I'll
Okay.
take the action item to verify all of the PDF files to make sure that they are the latest versions. And then I don't
Mhm.
know if I wasn't going to share out there, but I'm happy to. For example, the franchise agreement for the RN entrepreneurs. I don't know how many of those sources you want to put out there, or whatever you want to do with the page is completely up to you. I just did it as a communication point. If there's anything you want to change, feel free to change it. You won't hurt my feelings.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, do you want me to take the action item to look for those latest versions and make sure they're in sync?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll do that. I'm pretty sure they are because I was looking at the implementation version. And I think it's correct, but I'll go through each of the versions of the PDFs. And then, do you want me to? Uh, do you want to share the franchise entrepreneur agreement, or is that? Do you think that that's beneficial?
Is that the agreement we're going to have with the RNs?
Yes.
I think we can keep that one off the website.
Uh huh.
Yeah, it's more like a contract that we would sign with the RN, so we
Yeah.
don't need it on the website.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I feel so. Here's the thing, Warhana. If I'm going to check the versions, but you check the content. If there's something
Okay.
missing that you think we should have out there, let me know, and I can either generate it, the
Mm,
content, or I
okay.
can give you the documents that we've already agreed to.
Okay. All right.
Perfect. Thank you for that thumbs up as well, Benny. I didn't think that that belonged out there. That's why I hadn't requested it or put it out there. But thank you for that thumbs up and feedback.
Yeah. Okay, that's all from me.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
excellent. Benny, how about you? Anything else?
Yeah, I have some few things, but I think they are more of a CFO related question. So maybe when I meet personally with CFO, I'll just bring those ones on board.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Warhana can drop off and you
Yeah,
both.
Warhana, if you want to drop off, I can
If
work
you
with
have
you,
time now,
Benny.
Ben.
I can work with you, Benny, now, or and build those items for Salam in the vehicle. Just really quick, I want to make sure that both of you put your board member hat on. Do you agree that we should simply be tracking insurance, maintenance, and fuel costs on the truck, or is there something else we should be tracking?
Apart from the maintenance, sometimes a vehicle can break down.
Uh
Like
huh.
how do I say? Like something can just happen to it,
A
and it
repairs.
will not. Yeah, yeah, repairs.
Uh
So
huh.
something we can track as well. Repairs.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
And this is just, it's really, the only reason we'd be tracking it is for us internally, or if someone were to audit us and have questions about the expenses. And so I was thinking repairs would go under maintenance, but if you think we should break it out, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, the maintenance would be like scheduled maintenance.
Okay.
So every 3 months, I don't know how it's usually done. I think it's tied to mileage.
Yeah.
Then it goes for maintenance. But the repairs they can come up at any time.
Okay, great. So is what I'll do is I will break those into 4 categories. In should should well, maybe I need 5. Should register? I don't know how registration works. Is registration another expense that we should track because it happens annually in Ghana, or do you register the vehicle once and don't pay registration again?
You register it once and then that's it.
Okay. In the U.S., we register every year. So
Oh,
okay, so we'll do those 4 categories: maintenance, repair, fuel, and insurance.
okay.
Great. And Benny, do you have any feedback on that with your board member hat on?
Yeah, I think those categories are fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Then we'll build those items together.
There's
Great.
something in Ghana called roadworthy. I'm usually stopped by the police because of that.
Uh-huh.
I'm not able to track my insurance and my roadworthy expiration dates.
Okay.
So I don't know if Salam has made you aware that there's another component to vehicles called roadworthy,
Okay.
or if he has just included it to insurance. Uh, I think the
I think
roadworthy is 6 months. I don't think that one is 1 year. It's less than a year.
uh okay, I think where should we put that under maintenance? I don't want to break
Uh,
out too many categories because then we'll forget which ones to use. It could be overly complicated. So in an effort,
yeah.
if you think we should put it, I'll put it. If you think it can go under another category like maintenance or not wouldn't be insurance, but I guess it would just be maintenance.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, that is under maintenance.
yeah. So what do you think, Benny? Should we break that into a 5th category, or should we allow it to fall under maintenance?
Yeah, so I agree that it's wouldn't really be proper. We have a lot of separations
Hmm.
Mhm.
because we can decide to have a purchase invoice for this at any time.
Uh-huh.
So even with the repairs, I felt like the repairs could still be under maintenance.
Okay.
Just that, yeah, we can specify this is for like 3 months, or this is for just under remarks. We can indicate
Uh-huh.
exactly what we want. Yeah,
Okay,
so in
good.
that case, we could just have maintenance, which would be for both the repairs and the maintenance.
Okay, yeah.
That's
So
what
so
I'm.
so I hear you saying back to 3 categories: fuel, insurance, maintenance, but then under each of the purchase invoices, when they are submitted, there would be a description: fixed tire, uh, fixed something, or this roadworthy fee, or whatever it might be. Those would be under the maintenance category. So I hear you saying that the purchase invoice will describe more what the maintenance is.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And more, honey, you're okay with this? Okay, great. Okay, so that's what we'll do. I like to keep it simple too, and I think that's a good observation, Benjamin, to put that description in there. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
So now you and Ben
Yeah.
are gonna work.
Uh, Drop off.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Warihana. Have a
Thank
great
you.
rest of your evening.
Yeah, have a great one.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Thank you. Okay, Ben.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's
Yeah.
see. Let me adjust my seating arrangements. I'm going to. I think I'm going to sit on the floor for right now.
Okay. This thing's over there.
Yeah, I think I will do that. Okay, so what let's see if we just do verbal questions first. Do you have any for me? You want this closed, Abbie? Do you have any verbal questions around that you had about for me as a CFO? You
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead while I get ready if you don't mind.
Okay. Just a quick one is I don't know if you received an email about Gemini and if that is actually from Gemini that they were closing operations in our region.
They were what?
Closing operation.
Um, an email from Gemini
Yeah.
stating that they would be closing their operations in our region.
Oh, that's weird. Well, Ben, should I stop this recording?
Yes, so that